They call me Squirrel.
What's going on, Squirrel Squad? It is your boy, the Squirrel, and today I'm looking at 15 American phrases that totally confuse Brits. Now, there was a little bit of an intro in this video, so I'm going right to the first one so we can just start right out the gate and get into this. And I've done a video or two from this gentleman before, and today he's got someone with him, and they're going to work together. And I want to look at these 15 American phrases, and I want to see how confusing I think they would be to Brits, and maybe I can put a little more explanation on some of them. I enjoy doing videos like this, and it's kind of cool because I always learn about things that are happening on the other side of the pond. Whereas when it's something like this, I can kind of give insight from my side. So kind of neat. So without further ado, I'm going to shrink this down, do this gimmick here, and let's get into the video. Let's see what 15 American phrases totally confuse Brits. I'm in. You ready? Let's do it.
Is Monday morning quarterback. What does this mean?
Okay.
Monday morning quarterback. I'm going to give you what it means real quick and then we'll see what they think. So Monday morning quarterback is like, so quarterback is in American football. He's the guy who throws the ball to the receivers or hands it off to the guy who's going to run the ball down the field. That's the quarterback. He's the main guy in the game. And the quarterback calls all the shots. And so a Monday morning quarterback is a guy who will talk about all the games from the weekend. You can use it for different things, but typically it's the guy who comes to work and he's like, "Oh, they should have thrown the ball. Oh, they should have ran this. Oh, they should have done this before time ran out." And they like relive in every friggin' game in their head and tell you if they would have done this better, that better, different, whatever, they would have had a different result in the end. So he's basically like, one of the guys who's like, I could do better than the head coach. That's what it is. People use it just as people who are know-it-alls, really, but that's really what it means, the people who analyze the sports.
So a quarterback is a position in American football.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ask me more than that because I don't actually know what it means beyond that. But basically that phrase means to, when someone's coming in and giving advice or giving their opinion on something when it's already happened. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, okay, well, you have the privilege of hindsight now, so this is kind of pointless information.
So the quarterback is a position in American football, and they're the one that dictates what to do. I think they tell everyone, oh, you go this way, you go that way. So I guess it's that, but you're doing it in a different context.
Yeah, they call the plays, yeah. I mean, like I said, they can be used for any, but I mean, someone who passes judgment is something after an event. Yeah, that's what they're doing. But typically, it's typically about football. But she's right. It could be anybody.
Text.
Yeah.
After the event.
Like the game's already over. So It's kind of like if people are watching or they have watched a football game here and then people are at the pub and they're like, oh, you should have gone that way and should have did this and did that. And it's like, well, that's not really that helpful, is it?
It's really annoying. Oh, so to Monday morning quarterback something is actually a really annoying thing to do.
Yeah.
Aha. Okay. We don't have that same phrase, but okay. Excellent. All right, our next one, bang for your buck. What does this mean?
So buck is slang
Get
for
more for your
dollar,
money.
Yes.
kind of like how we say quid here. And so when you say something has good bang for your buck, it means that it's good value, basically.
Ah, okay. All right. So I might say like this flat is a good bang for your buck.
Yep, it means
right?
I'm paying a good price compared to maybe other places around.
It is. It means you're getting more for your money. You're getting more bang for your buck. The bang is more, the buck is money, really. And he's right. You could describe an apartment like that. Like, hey, this apartment's really good. It's good bang for your buck. A lot of times you hear that phrase when comparing two things. So, like, someone will be like, well, I was going down to such and such sandwich shop and I was getting a ham sandwich down there every day and it was $5. But I found out this other sandwich shop down the road, the sandwiches are $5.50, but they're like twice as big and twice as much meat, so you get a lot more bang for your buck. So you're getting more value for your money. That's what like more of an item or more value out of it.
Around the area.
All right, nice. Okay, this is a classic one that I hear, and I've never really understood it. To plead the fifth. What does this mean?
Right. So the fifth is an amendment in the Constitution. This is really getting into my history and politics knowledge here, where you basically can stay silent. So in court, you can say that you plead the fifth, which means you actually don't have to answer any questions. And this is in various different parts of the judicial process. So people will say, like, if I ask you a question and you like sheepishly don't want to answer it, you'll be like, I plead the fifth.
Okay, so we can use it in just like a really informal context.
Yeah, exactly.
it's usable in court, but it's also usable in like everyday conversation. Somebody be like, "Oh, so and so, pulled this prank on me. Do you know who did it?" Like, "Oh, I plead the fifth." Um, the Fifth Amendment, if I remember correctly, it's so that you don't incriminate yourself. That's what it is. You have the right to remain silent as to not incriminate yourself. It's actually in the Miranda rights. When you get arrested over here, they say you have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot or will not afford an attorney, one will be appointed to you. And then, so those are the Miranda rights. Knowing that you have the right to an attorney, knowing you have the right to stay silent. So that's what that is. But that's your Fifth Amendment right. And there are people that will go in and they'll invoke that Fifth Amendment right in court, and they won't have to say anything. But at the end of the day, if you're not saying anything to defend yourself, it's a risk you're going to take that you might be found guilty because you didn't fight for yourself.
So, as like a teenager, if your mum was like, "Where have you been?" you could be like, "I plead the fifth."
Yeah, I probably did that when I was.
Yeah, your mom would get away with that, but yeah.
Nice. Okay, that's a really cool phrase. I like that one.
I plead. He pleads the fifth. All right.
Okay, this one I've heard a few times. John Hancock. What is a John
Signature.
Hancock?
Yeah.
Or who is John Hancock?
So John Hancock, again, this is really going into my history knowledge. So he was one of the founding fathers, if I remember correctly, of the United States of America. And when you say John Hancock, it's slang for a signature because I think he was potentially the first person to sign the Constitution.
No, I'm not. I believe that the reason why I don't think it's that he was the first person. He may have been, but it's if you look at the Constitution of the United States and you look at all the signatures at the bottom, John Hancock's signature is huge. He was proud to sign the document, and he signed his name gigantic across the bottom of it. So if you look at all the signature, John Hancock's signature stands out. I believe, and she could be right. He might have been the first one, and maybe I'm wrong, and somebody else was the one that signed it big. But I'm pretty sure it was Hancock. He signed it extra big, so the signature is noteworthy because of that. So if someone wants your signature on something, they'll be like, "Hey, put your John Hancock on this." That's what that is.
Constitution
Okay.
when the U.S. left you guys.
Oh.
So, yeah, if someone says, "I need your John Hancock," it means I need your signature.
So can you put your John Hancock just there, for example? To me, it sounds like a euphemism for something else. But
Yeah, it's not. I get that.
Okay, John Hancock. A great question for you. A New York minute.
Right, so...
What is a New York minute?
Yeah, so New York, everyone knows it's hustle bustle. Everything is going so fast. So when you say something happened in a New York minute, it just means very, very quickly, basically in a moment. It just flashes before your eyes and then goes.
Right.
Okay, because
Like an hour in New York seems like it's only 10 minutes because everything is going so fast. A lot of you guys know my wife and I went there about a month ago to go see Phantom of the Opera, and it was insane. Like we were hustling down the street, and like we were hauling ass because we were trying to get to Central Park just to check it out. My wife and I wanted to just go, and she had never been. We wanted to kind of walk by, and if nothing else, at least say that we were there. And time constraints, we ended up going by. We went by NBC Studio. We ran by Trump Tower. We ran by the park. All these different landmarks in New York City we saw as we were trying to get just to the park. You see all these other things you're passing because you're hustling down these streets. And the crazy thing about it is, like, we're traveling quick. We're like hustling to get to this park because we got to get back. We got to get changed. We got to go to dinner. We got to go to the show. And like people that live in New York are like flying by us on the street. It's crazy.
everything is just moving so quickly there.
Yeah,
very
exactly.
So maybe like, would you say, for example, like, how far is the pub from here? Like, oh, it'll take you a New York minute to get there.
Yeah, and it would mean like it's basically across the road.
Okay,
Right.
okay, so not far at all. Do you have other minutes? Is there a Texan minute? Is there
Not
like
that I know of.
a Boston minute?
Not that I know of, but I would say if there was, it would definitely be something down south that it would be the opposite because everything's much slower down south, like Texas, Florida.
Like a Louisiana minute.
Yeah, exactly.
Would be like a really
Yeah.
slow, chilled minute. I like the sound of that. Yeah, this is one again I've never really understood. At college or university, as we would say,
There we go.
you have different years. So like sophomore is a word I've heard, and freshmen as well.
Yeah.
What are these?
Yeah, so most universities, you go for 4 years, depending on what degree you're doing, but most will take 4 years. And then so if you're a freshman, that means you're in the first year. Okay. Then there's sophomore, which is second year, junior's third year, and then your final year is your senior year, fourth year.
So you have a specific name for each year.
Yeah.
Okay. So freshman, I guess we translate as fresher. We have that.
Yes.
But then we do 3 years here, so we don't have you just second year and third year.
And you don't have anything for the last one even?
No.
Interesting.
Third year. Or like last year. Yeah.
So this is a weird one to me. First of all, it's not a phrase. It's just two different words he wants to know about, which is kind of weird because it's supposed to be phrases. That's fine, whatever. I'm not gonna, I don't want to pick it apart. I'll be told I'm a bad guy or something. But anyway, I just remember that this was the freshman thing, freshman, junior, senior, sophomore, whatever. That was on one of his other videos. And I was just kind of like, wow, they don't do that. But there was multiple people that commented to say that they do use these terms. He just isn't familiar with them, maybe? I don't know. But there was definitely a couple different people that said, I know these terms. We use these too. We just call it, instead of a freshman, we call it a fresher, but the other ones are the same. Or I don't know. Tell me what you think about that. But I don't know why we're bringing them up in this video again. These aren't phrases. And I don't know. I don't know why he really likes them, I guess. I don't know.
No, we don't. And then obviously, like, once you've graduated, you are a grad. So you have, like, or post-grad. But yeah, the sophomore one, I've never understood that ever.
Yeah.
Sophomore, okay.
Yeah. It's in the US, you always call each other by that. You would never ever say, I'm in my second year or my third year. You'd always say, I'm a sophomore. And it's also a little bit of an identifying factor where it's like, oh my God, we're all sophomores, cool. Or like, we're all freshmen, and like, oh my God, cool, you're freshmen, that's so cute. Like, we're seniors. And it's constantly used.
Is it reduced down in sort of a freshie? Are you a freshie or anything like that? Or is it like a...
Not that I remember, but it's been a long time since I've been at university, so maybe someone will chime in the comments.
Yeah. Nice.
I never knew that you were cute just because you were a freshman. That was a little different. But I don't know either. I didn't go to college. I spent a lot of time hanging out at colleges, partying. But I didn't go to college, so what do I know?
Nice. Okay. To knock on wood. Now, I heard this phrase, the first ever time I heard it was a band who I'm blanking on now, but they had a song called Every Time I Knock on Wood, something else.
Okay.
And I was like, well, I don't know what that means. So what does it mean? Translate it for me.
There's also a famous old song, you gotta knock on wood. Knock on wood means, I don't know what it actually means, but like if you say something like, oh, I saw Jim the other day, and he's been cancer-free for 7 years. Knock on wood. Knock on wood means like it's like a superstitious thing. You knock on wood so that it's like if you don't knock on wood, then like I don't know, Uncle Bob's still alive. He's still hanging there at 107 years old. Knock on wood. In other words, if you don't find wood to knock on, Bob's gonna die tomorrow. It's just a superstition thing. That's what it is, And then sometimes you're running around because there's no real wood around, man. You gotta take a 5-mile jog for a tree. I'm kidding, but it's a superstitious knock. I don't know.
It's funny because I feel like I've heard that my entire life. Basically, it means you don't want to jinx something. So if you're like, I'll be getting a promotion next week, and then hopefully, and then you go like knock on wood, and then you're supposed to go find a piece of wood, and you go knock, knock, knock. And it's like, I don't want to jinx it, so hopefully it's still happening.
Oh, it's like for luck.
Yeah. Kind of for luck. It's
superstition.
Maybe not luck. No, not quite luck. It's just that you like don't want to jinx something. So you don't, if you're talking about it, or you're like, jinx. I've never been in a car accident before. Knock on wood.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Okay, yeah. All right. So that translates for us as like to touch wood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I forgot. Yeah, you guys say that.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense.
Okay, so you touch wood. We know.
Another phrase, for the birds. I've seen there's a Pixar film called For the Birds that I've seen, but again, I didn't get the reference. I didn't. What does it mean? Yeah,
I've not heard this one too many times. I've never used it, but it basically means that it's like pointless or useless. So you could say like, this seminar is for the birds. Like, let's just go.
I'm not sure where this started. To my recollection, I used to have conversations with people about like word origins and phrase origins when I was a pub tender. We would talk about different things, different phrases and where they came from. To this, I believe this has to do with old stale bread or bread that got burned. Um, it was no longer any good. So they would crush it up and throw it out the window, and the birds would come eat the crumbs off the ground. So since it was pointless or useless, as it says here on the screen, um, the bread was no good, so it's useless. So you crumble it up and you give it to the birds. So that bread is now for the birds. That's where I heard this came from. But if you think of it in that analogy, that's what it's for. You know what I mean? Like, somebody's like, oh man, I got these great donuts down at this shop down the street. Like, oh, I've had those. Those are for the birds. Like, those are no good. There's better donuts at this other shop or something to that effect.
This seminar, you're not this one.
Not this one.
No, other ones. Okay. So just useless, like no point in it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'd love to know if anyone knows the sort of the etymology of that, why this phrase exists. Let us know in the comments below. Okay, our next one, we're rattling through these. To be behind the 8 ball. An 8 ball is from pool, right?
Yep.
The black ball, I think it is.
Yeah, which is the last one you want to get in when you're playing pool.
Right. Okay.
Pool pro here. So again, this one I've not really heard that much, but basically it means that because if you're behind the 8 ball, you're at a disadvantage because you don't want to knock the 8 ball because of various reasons, and you don't want it to go in the hole. So that saying basically means that you're at a disadvantage and you don't want to do that.
Okay. All right. Okay. Interesting. So maybe if I'm training for a race, and maybe I haven't been training as long as some other people, then I could say I'm a bit behind the 8 ball compared to these guys.
I think it would be, that might work, but I think it's more of that you would say I've sprained my ankle, so now I'm behind the 8 ball.
Okay.
Yeah, I understand what she's saying, and I'm not 100% sure what the right use of this is. My understanding of being behind the 8 ball meant that you were slacking behind or falling behind. Oh well, Joe was supposed to mow the lawn, trim the hedges, and then wash the car. He started 3 hours ago. He's only halfway done with the lawn, so he's a little behind the 8 ball. That's how I've always known it to be used. Like, you're falling behind on something you're working on. But it could be because you're at a disadvantage. So maybe I've always heard that and not realized that that's what it means. So she absolutely could be right on this. I don't know, but I've always known it to be like you're slacking, you're falling behind. But that you're at a disadvantage could be the same thing or the same reason why you're getting that result.
Okay, makes sense. Okay, another one. The whole 9 yards. This one rings a bell.
Yeah, I feel like, God, I've heard this, I guess, loads, but I don't know if I've used it in a very long time. I have been here for 10 years, though, so I think sometimes, I forget, and I've lost a lot of the isms, and I picked up, obviously, some of the English ones.
Yeah.
So the whole 9 yards basically means, everything. Yeah. So I'll say sometimes, so we kind this, and this, we did everything, we did the whole 9 yards, or got the whole 9 yards, and, just kind of means we did it all.
Okay, cool. Maybe, I'm thinking at Christmas time, houses, some people like to decorate the houses, then there's one house that's just lit up, just decorations everywhere. It's the whole 9 yards, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, if you get everything that, like she said, so that analogy I used earlier, if your parents left and they came home and they were like, did you do everything you're supposed to do? I mowed the lawn, I trimmed the hedges, I washed the car, the whole 9 yards, I got it all done. It's like wrapping everything. You got everything. So the whole 9 yards, to my knowledge, comes from quoting cement work, and so a cement truck holds 9 yards of cement, 9 cubic yards, I guess, of cement. So when you would come and they were going to pour this foundation, they would say, how much are we using? They'd say the whole 9 yards, like we need the whole truck's worth, right? So that's where I'm familiar with that phrase coming from. That's where I always learned that it came from. I know there's another analogy where it came from. It doesn't even make as much sense. And maybe not, the cement truck may be wrong, but that's what I've always heard. So the whole 9 yards means you want all of it. You need everything, all of it together, and people use it to say we did it all, we did everything. So, but I think it comes from cement trucks. Pretty sure.
Nice phrase. Okay, we've got a few more. This one, broil. I've heard this word, and again, we've got the word boil, but not broil.
Yeah.
This is a word, not a phrase. So again, here we go. It's an American phrase, but whatever. I'm not going to nitpick shit. Broil means, and they use it. I know it's used in multiple ways, like there's a broiler or whatever. But the term broil, if you're going to broil something, means that you're going to toast the top. So our stoves have a broil setting. You have bake and broil. Broil is just the top burner comes on in the oven. I used the broiler earlier today. My son Shane asked for tuna melts for lunch. It's basically a piece of bread, some tuna on it, and then he wanted tomato on it, so put a couple slices of tomato, and then I put a piece of cheese on top. You bake it in the oven, and then toward the end, you change it from bake to broil, and that top burner comes on, and it makes the cheese melt really fast, and it makes it kind of crispy and all that. So that's what a broiler is. It's the when you bake something, the bottom burner just heats the oven and you bake. But if you want to toast or crisp something on top, you put it up on the top shelf near the top burner and you put it on broil, and that's when that top burner comes on.
So this has actually confused me for until recently, because I would talk to my parents about things I would be making here and using recipes here, and they would be like, grill, like you don't have a grill, and I'd be like, no, there's like the grill setting on the oven and I use that, and my parents were like, I don't get what that means, but broil is the same thing as grill here.
Okay.
And so it's a setting on the oven there as well.
Yeah, the way you described it earlier was like, the one with the fire that does it. So,
the zigzag line at the top.
It's like, oh yes, grill, right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to broil this chicken rather than grill this chicken.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd like to do y'all. Can we do y'all?
So I'm not sure exactly if that's right. I don't know, because if we're going to grill chicken, we're going to go outside. We have a grill outside with fire underneath, and we grill food on the grill or a flat top grill. So if I said I'm going to grill chicken, I'm going outside to grill it on a grill, It's called a grill, and it's usually propane, and it's usually fire. I have a flat top Blackstone grill. There's fire underneath, but it's a restaurant style flat top, 36 inches. Thing's awesome. That's grilling as well. But if your ovens have bake and grill means that your top burner comes on, then in that reference, yes, broil and grill mean the same thing. But if you also interchange the word grill to mean like you're going to grill on an open grate over a fire to grill like a steak, then no, it doesn't mean the same thing, I don't think, because I don't think we're ever broiling. I don't know. Now I'm confused because the word grill means something different over here too. Another not phrase. Here we go.
Oh,
yeah.
Because that's a word that we do not have here.
This means
and
you all.
I hear it a lot, and I kind of understand it, but how would you use it?
So, I mean, y'all is just short for you all, and anytime you want to say you all, you just say, hey y'all, instead of hey you all. I guess people don't really say you all as much, but it's very, very common in the southern part of the U.S.
Okay.
And it's like you just hear it all the time, and it's kind of, if I ever go to the south of the U.S., people are always saying it, and it kind of like gets in my head, and then I'll be like, start saying it. I'm like, no, I'm from New York. I live in London. I'm not allowed to say it.
Oh, really? So like someone from New York just wouldn't say y'all?
No.
Okay.
Y'all is definitely a southern term, like she said. It's up north. They don't say you all, because you all doesn't really make that much sense. I mean, I guess it does. How like hey y'all, like hey you all. You wouldn't say hey you all. You'd say everybody. So hey everybody. Or like y'all are coming down to the lake to go fishing. We'd say, is everybody coming down the lake to go fishing? So in the north, it's definitely an original thing in the United States, just to give you guys some insight. So like, it would be the difference. So like if, somewhere in northern England, they had a word that they use, and southern England, they had a word that they use, and they both meant the same thing, but they were totally different words. It's kind of the same thing. In southern United States, y'all is very, very, very popular. I lived in Florida for a while. I heard a lot of y'all down there. And they'd say fitting to do something or fixing to do, but in Florida, usually they pronounce it fitting, but it means a fixing to do. We're fixing to do this, we're fixing to do that. It means we're going to do something. I don't even know where that term ever arrived from. But definitely, y'all just means everybody.
It's a southern thing.
But it's kind of charming too.
I think so.
Yeah.
You've said it, but you've definitely said it. Or do you even put it in messages sometimes? Like, hey, y'all.
Maybe, yeah. To be fair, I think like people will do it like for fun if they're not from the South, and just kind of to instead of being like, hey ya or something like that. It's like, hey y'all.
Yeah. But I think there are definitely those words where you feel like you're being quite playful and you're not necessarily from that region or whatever. Like there's a few Scottish words I use where it's like, okay, I'm not Scottish, but it's fun to say like wee for small, right? Like I'm a wee bit. And it's like, it's just a fun, it's almost entertaining yourself when you're saying these words. So.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. I think that's everything.
All right. Well, that's everything. Then I'm going to jump back to full screen. Not a lot to wrap up in this because I talked through the whole damn thing, but I wanted to give you my opinion on what these phrases meant, and I love it. I think it's so interesting that some of these phrases are just second nature to me. The whole 9 yards. I use that a lot. That's a very 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 common thing for me. But then again, you know, y'all have your own phrases. Jeez, that we don't. So why don't y'all comment in the comment section below a crazy phrase that you think might be different to an American? I probably know a lot of them because I've reacted to a lot of stuff in the past 3 years. But maybe you got one that's more common in a certain region or whatever. But feel free to leave it in the comments below and then leave what it means. It kind of be kind of interesting, Maybe I'll do a video like this, like 15 phrases that I found in the comment section that confused the crap out of me. Or maybe you just leave the phrase and don't tell me what it means. And then either way, however you want to do it, it's up to you. This is fun. This guy's videos when I do them, they don't get ridiculously huge views or anything like that, but I find them fun and I like the interaction to be able to talk through these and kind of explain to you, how I feel about certain things or whatever. And they do okay. And it seems that some people really, enjoy these from the comments that I get. So I hope you enjoyed this one. There's another one that I had saved of his, and it's something like it's like 12 American phrases that are dirty in the English language or something. So like something that we use that it's not supposed to be means something dirty or in the UK, I guess. I don't know. At some point, I'll pull that one out and do it. But I hope you enjoyed this one. She has a YouTube page as well. I know because when I first started the video, it was running while I was getting everything else set up and I could hear it in the background. That's why I skipped to when they started. I'll make sure I link both their pages in the comment section below so you can go check out his page, the gentleman whose video I'm using, and the young lady who helped him out to this video. She's from New York. She lives in London, and she does like videos on like places you should go see and like obscure places as well if you're going to visit, things like that. That's what I heard her describing earlier. So I'll put a link to both their channels in the description below. If you feel like checking them out, please do. I hope you enjoyed the video. I appreciate you being here, and I will catch you guys, I don't know, soon, I hope, right? Be good. Squirrel out.